How are you, gentlemen? All your base are belong to us. I'm joking though. We're back with more Katawa Shoujo. I have no idea when this is being uploaded, so yeah, wouldn't even bother. So let's continue. Must look terrible right now. Nah, you look good. Don't change that look. I want to protest, but quickly realized that it would be futile to do so. That said, I want her to open up more. If you want to talk about anything, I'm here. She gave us a self deprecating snort as if to mock her own emotions. Oh, I told you not to change that look. Come on. Now you look all sad. There's just a lot happening right now. Sorry for being so strange recently, especially back when we were in town. Even though I'm a bit confused about everything. Well, there are ways to clear one's mind. There are actually many ways to clear one's mind. And one of those is hitting this blunt. Hit it. Nah, she probably wouldn't. She'd probably be like, marijuana, Hisao? Really? I'd just be like, yeah, why not? Come on. It'll help clear your mind. Come on. Come on. Peer pressure. Peer pressure. Peer pressure. Bad influence. Bad influence. Believe me, I know how that feels. She smiles wistfully, resting a cheek on the backs of her fingers. We're a couple of broken young fools, aren't we? Not really, not yet. Come on, don't say that. Come graduation, we'll be back into the real world. Real world? Sometimes I surprise myself with the way I think about things. I guess the strange, divorced feeling of Yamaku and the surrounding town compared to the outside world is still hasn't become natural. Goddess, how can you not give me big lines of text? I actually had to take something to wake myself up because of you. Because I'm sorry to say, I may love the Katawa Shoujo novel. You know, this visual novel, I may love it because it's a really good, story. But it's still a book, and, me and books, they don't really get along that well. So even when I like a book, I'll still get tired when reading it. Like, it's not like I get so into it that I'm just like, well, actually, yeah, the first time through, I could not sleep. I didn't sleep for like 3 days trying to finish this whole thing. Maybe it never will. Strange, in hindsight, being isolated from society like this doesn't feel as bad as it probably should. A wry? Is that rye? Yeah, a wry grin on her face. Lily seems to share the same sense of amusement at the idea. Eventually, though, her smile drops. No, come on. I'll be going back to Scotland for a week or two soon. Is that why we had to reschedule Hanako's birthday party? She gives an affirmative nod. Affirmative. Over and out. You'll be able to see your family again. At least you're not looking forward to it. I haven't met my family in 6 years. Damn, that's a long time. To meet your family, hell yeah, that's a long ass time. In like the grand scheme of things, it's not a long time because 60 years compared to an entire life isn't long, but it is long. If you really really think about it, it is a long time. That's 365 times 6. One moment. Where's my calculator? There you are. So 365 times 6 is, yeah, it's 2,190 days. That's a long ass time. I don't even know how to act around them anymore. Wait, what? My mouth hangs open as I try to process what she said. If she's 18, that means she'd have been only 12 when they left. I may have seen very little of my parents, what with them both working long hours, but I feel utterly useless as I struggle to find some way to respond. That's, but why? Why did they leave? Or why are they inviting Akira and I back? Both, I suppose. My father's business has its headquarters in Scotland, and an executive position became available for him there. In the end, we had to move permanently. Shizune's dad is an asshole. Just saying. My mother followed him, but Akira and I stayed in Japan for the sake of both Akira's job within the Japanese branch of my father's company and my education. As for the latter, one of my aunts is gravely sick. Ah, I'm sorry. Don't be. Feels strange, really. We're being summoned there for her, yet we've barely met before. I can't even remember the sound of her voice. Equally strange is the total lack of antipathy? 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 I don't know. She feels towards her family for doing such a thing. Can't help feeling slightly humbled. That said, her wistful exterior is just hiding her emotions. Seeing her like this is depressing. Knowing what to do, I lift myself off the bed. Lily notices the bed's movements, her head perking up and her hand reaching sideways to feel where I was. Hisao. I walk over to my bag, still leaning against the wall, unbuckling the front flap and retrieving the opaque bag from within. I take the small, plain box in my hands. Hold your hands out, Lily. I'm gonna put a tube steak in your hands. Oh, this bootleg. She looks surprised for a moment, but eventually acquaints. I don't know. Okay, leave me alone. I'm not good with words like that. I can just pronounce really long words and stuff. Just not the extremely long words that are like 90 fucking letters. I'm amused by her look of curiosity when I place the music box into her open palms, her typically delicate way of handling it, making it seem as if it were fragile enough to break if breathed on. She wordlessly brings it in front of her face, her slender fingers feeling it out its contours and patterning. Eventually, her fingers find the recessed line between the lid and the body of the box, and her thumb effortlessly pops open the lid. Take a seat on the bed next to her, watching her face silently and intently. She sits completely motionless as she listens to the diminutive, tinny melody, her mouth just slightly open. And then she closes it. It takes a long while before she closes the lid with a small snap, bringing the curtain down on the miniature performance playing in her hands. The smile on her face, gentle and wistful, shows that I made the right decision. Think of it as a going-away present for your trip to Scotland. I will. A restless shuffling can be heard from the floor in front of us, the sound having woken Hanako. Oh no! Quick! Somebody get the bat! Make her go back to sleep! I'd just be like, hey, Hanako, take 2 of these. I'd hand her some sleeping pills. She'd just fall back asleep, just, like 15 minutes later, just, hey, and just fall over, just, dush. Just, what did you give her? Sleeping medication. She'll be okay. She's just gonna sleep for like another 3 hours. She climbs out of the blankets I put over her, looking befuddled and wiping the sleep from her eyes. See, you're finally up. What? Hanako looks around the room with her eyes only half open, her mind far from being as awake as her body. Her dazed state makes me and Lily chuckle. She's like, what? What's going on? Who are you people? Get the fuck out of my room. Who the fuck are you people? Seriously though, those pajamas are a little bit too short in the lower region. Just saying. Yeah. As Lily gets off the bed and tends to Hanako, I take one last look around the room. Guess I better get going then. There will be questions if I am seen leaving the girls' dormitories in the morning. Goodbye, Hisao. Oh, Goodbye. I stand and walk to the door, picking up my somewhat lighter bag along the way. After I leave the room and enter the hallway, though, I hear Lily's footsteps behind me. Hmm? What's wrong? Without a word, she strides up to me. I freeze as I feel her hands slide onto my cheek, seemingly every nerve taking in the feeling of her fingers and palm upon it. Immediately after, her face slowly moves next to mine, a light, momentary touch of her lips brushing against my other cheek. Oh, shit. That was an accidental skip. Again. Damn it. For a moment, everything seemed to stand still. I absentmindedly bring up my fingers to my cheek as if to try and recapture that fleeting feeling. Like the old school music that's playing. If you guys can hear it, probably not. Hold on. Old school. Hell yeah. I like melodies. Lily? That's my thing. That's my thank you, Hisao. Thank you for your present. Have a nice day in school. And with that, she disappears behind her door and gently closes it. The muffled voices of she and Hanako audible through it much as they were yesterday night. It's funny, after that happens, I was able to read that perfectly. I think I'd be hard-pressed not to have a nice day after that. I walk away with a certain spring in to my step. I think there were some people around that glanced at me emerging from the girls' dormitory building. It's funny how I say that I'm done fucking up and then I start fucking up again. But I find it difficult to care. Wow, another chapter. This is going quicker than expected. See, Act 1 always drags so much. How much time are we working with? Not very much. As expected. He-chan? Oh god, this is like, just go away. Misha, don't do this. It's strangely, like, inappropriate how she decides to wake him up. He-chan, leave me alone. Come on, He-chan. Let me sleep. After 2 nights of not being able to sleep at all, the last thing I want is to be woken when I finally manage to. Maybe the last period of class with the textbook as my pillow, but I'll take whatever sleep I can get by this point. See, He-chan? Even She-chan wants you to get up. Well, she's the student council president. That's why she wants me to get up. I don't care what Shizune wants. Leave me alone. Gee, She-chan, I'll just have to wake. Wait, Misha's going to... You? This is bad. I'm up. You don't have to. It's like she was just like touching him in weird places or something to get him to get up or something. You know, like she was just like reaching slowly down, and then he woke up. I can feel my face flowing into a scarlet red blush. Soon as still in the class, they're sitting bolt upright and staring at the shouty fool who was sleeping just moments before. Damn it! I let my head smack back down on the table with a noticeable thud. Fucking Misha, you caused this. Misha's trademark uncontrolled laughter reverberates through the classroom. I turn as I turn my mournful eyes to the bespectacled Shizune beside her. She carefully adjusts her glasses, desperately trying to maintain a look of serious disapproval. Narrowing my eyes, I can see the badly hidden grin spreading across her face. Et tu, Shizune? Shizune looks away quickly as she crosses her arms tightly, barely on the edge of her control. Misha, you bitch. Why did you have to do that? He was just like, this is bad. Oh no. Misha's laughter doubles in volume as she glances at Shizune. All I can do is drag my hand down my face in resignation. You two. Who was the one who slept in class, He-chan? Yeah, it was me. Poor She-chan was having a fit trying to wake you up, weren't you? I moved my eyes back to the standoffish Shizune, who, with a single huff of confirmation, returns to looking away with her arms crossed. Why was Shizune trying to wake me up? Shi-chan wanted to give you the handouts the substitute teacher gave out while He-chan was sleeping. Handouts. Oh, God! I suddenly find 2 sheets of paper thrust down in front of my face. Following the hand holding them, I see the still pouting figure looking down at me with a distinct scowl. I guess I really am in the wrong here. She doesn't really look mad. She kind of just like, it looks like, dude, come on. It's just 2 sheets of paper. Just take them, get them done, get some sleep. Sorry about that. No dice. Her irritated face still holds. I clasp my hands together and flick my head downwards in apology. Very, very sorry. She huffs and simply drops the papers on the desk. Damn. Damn. I look up over my hands to see Shizune and Misha signing frantically to each other. I just see them like half slapping each other whenever they put that sentence in there. Like, oh, you bitch! Look of frustration on Shizune's face. ... Exclamation point? Can you even do that? I don't think you can. If there's no words being said, I don't think you can put an exclamation point. It looks to be less of a dialogue and more of a tirade, punctuated with sidelong glances at me. To say it's unsettling is an understatement. I will slap the both of you, I swear. Put up with the attitude. Well, you're just being fucking mad on her behalf, and you need to just, be like, fuck you, bitch. I do what I want. Suddenly stop signing and look at me in unison, both having exactly the same look of disapproval. In one fluid motion, Misha's hand suddenly extends high above me and comes rocketing down. Oh, you bitch! Before I can even hope to react, my head is sent bouncing up and down like a jack-in-the-box. I quickly bring my hands to my head, more out of reflex than actual pain. Ah, what was that for, you bitch? Open my eyes to see the two grinning at each other while exchanging an enthusiastic thumbs up. Shi-chan says she forgives you now, He-chan. Could you forgive me with a little less force next time? Seriously, I am going to make one comment right now because I know that most people who watch the videos for this are thinking the same thing. Big ass titties. The fuck? They're like they're like 3 times the size of hers. Like, look, small, big, small, big, small, big. It makes it makes perfect sense because all girls have their own sizes, but still, she's like got like they're huge. Why? She's smuggling something up in there. Bet you she's got like bags of pot hidden up in there. That's why she's always so happy. Or ecstasy. I don't fucking know. Just bottles of fucking ecstasy. Just like, what the fuck? Just take her bra off, the fucking pill bottles just fall to the floor. What the fuck? Is she so like flat chested? Just, oh, now I see. I look at the two with a blank face. Misha and Shizune 1, Isao 0. Oh, Shi-chan also says that you should check your student mail more often. Oh no. Get this fucking thing away from my face. I don't want to read it. She produces a bright yellow envelope and hands it over with an exuberant grin. Strange, who could have written me a letter? Now is not the time, most definitely not the place to find out, though. Giving up on the nap so cruelly stolen from me, I rub my forehead and slowly get up, putting the sheets and envelope in my bag before swinging it over my shoulder. Thank you for stepping away from the camera, because now it might lag less. I take a step back and move to depart with a small bow, while Misha clutches her sides laughing and Shizune nods back in a curt farewell, I joined the flow of students exiting the open door and turned the corner into the hallway. Hanako, what's up? Last time I saw you, you were drunk as fuck. And then you woke up really fucking out of it. Only to end up face to face with Hanako. Whoa. Hey Hanako. Good afternoon, Hisao. Silence falls between us as busily chatting students pass us by. She's fidgeting constantly, her eyes drawn to her unremarkable footwear. Take the bridge of my nose in my fingers while I blink my eyes heavily in an attempt to make things seem clear. I'm barely staying awake as it is. Hanako, do you want to say something? What is it? I wanted to give you this. She holds out a small rectangular piece of paper. I blink again and make out the text, though barely open my eyes, slowly starting to make out what's written. It's a grocery list. Seriously, if the grocery list was really that small, I would have said, fuck it, I'll go take a walk down to town and grab it. Shopping list? I look upwards, raising an eyebrow. I usually go shopping with Lily, but I can't come, so you want me to run errands for you? It's okay if you don't want to. I just thought that maybe, she's panicking. I sigh. Yet another battle lost, though this time by a weakly fought surrender. Smile tiredly and rest a hand on her head to calm her down. It's fine. I was going to go anyway. Just the stuff on the list? She nods, then bows deeply, twice, if to make her gratitude perfectly clear. We're going to meet outside the school gates at 6. Thank you. I was going to get it, but I need to study for the test tomorrow. Test? Ah, that's right. Science. How are you doing with it? She brightens ever so slightly. I've been spending more time on it than before. I think I can do okay. Good work then. She too starts smiling, and much more earnestly than I at that. I have full confidence that I can do fine with it without any extra studying, but the fact that she's putting in the effort instead of just reading in the library is heartening. I'll grab your stuff and take it to your dorm in the evening. See ya. With a small wave, we part ways. I'll go do my homework before meeting Lily. I should be able to take care of it in time. Wrangling with a particularly complicated math problem has caused me to be a little bit late for my meeting with Lily. Only a couple of minutes, but enough to make me step smartly out into the courtyard and to the school gate. Make a turn right and start my way towards the small town below, leaving a few students turning the other way to the bus station. Slip my right hand into my pocket as I walk in the orange sunlight of dusk. Thankful it's sweltering summer's heat has started to die down, making way for a pleasant cool breeze. There's my lady. When I stretch my hands high above my head, a familiar figure takes form, cane in her right hand. Ah, Lily. She stops and turns around, swiveling her head slightly to try and work out exactly where the voice came from. Hey, it's me. I quickly catch up to her, coming in beside her and matching her slow pace as we resume walking. Good afternoon, Hisao. Hi there. Hi there. And then I stroll in. Hi there. Fucking Insane Clown Posse, man. Love that music. It's so bootleg. Especially To Catch a Predator. That shit is just bootleg. Like, seriously, if you've ever watched a user named Vash12349 and you understand the meaning of bootleg, you have the right to say it. And that shit is bootleg. Hi there. And then I stroll in with the pretentious hunting blade straight into his rib cage. I wasn't expecting any predators, but oh well. But then I realized I left the head on the living room chair. He seen it and ran. I had to give chase. I kept running at him with my knife swinging for his face. I threw it, stuck him in the back, and I had to drag him home a bloody wreck. Glance up at the sky. Sorry, I had to sing some of the lyrics for that because it's just great. A distinct tinge of orange discolors the clouds, washing the footpath in its light. Long shadows from the trees fall across the wide road down the hill. So, Sal, what brings you here? Just going to town to grab some groceries. Hanako sent me. Hanako sent you? Yeah, said she needed to study for the test tomorrow. I was going to come down anyway, so I'll just buy her stuff as well. Unspoken is that Lily really could use some help to get food, but it's an obvious fact that neither of us needs it to state. It's good to hear she's studying for it. I thought the same thing when she asked me to come with you. We continue walking down the street, the familiar sound of her cane echoing through the air as we go, except for the occasional passing car and leaves whispering in the branches. There's a blissful silence. Thank God I can finally relax for the first time today. Slow zoom. I glance over at Lily. That porcelain face of hers never seems to lack the air of relaxed confidence. I guess the same could be said of her personality, too. As she silently walks, her face remaining pointed to the street ahead of her, I look ahead and savor the cool air blowing over my face. This is probably the calmest moment I've had since the about face my life took so recently. To have it while walking to get some groceries. What a weird life. I feel the crumbled up note rubbing against my hand in my pocket and pull it out to check its contents. Let's see here. Eggs, bread, cereal, thyme, lettuce, shaved ham. That sounds like quite a bit to carry back along with your own. Yeah, just how much does this girl eat anyway? My mind suddenly clicks that, yes, there actually is a person beside me. Wait, I mean, she laughs wholeheartedly. My, Hisao. Her giggles punctuate her words, though she's making little effort to suppress them. Quite direct today, aren't we? Yeah, you got me there. Still, it is quite a bit. Usually I go shopping with Hanako, so I know what she buys. It's the same thing every week. She's a good cook. She gives a nervous giggle. It's usually me who ends up cooking. I'm used to do so for Akira, so it's no problem doing it for Hanako as well. You can cook, but again, do not question her blindness. She is fucking like leet. She's boss, okay? She's fucking awesome. A short hum with an amused lift animates from beside me. I wonder if the fact that she seems amused by my comments so often is actually genuine, or whether just from a want to make me more comfortable in addressing her blindness. There are ways around it. Some meals are more difficult to cook than others because of being unable to see what I'm doing. But it usually only takes a little more time. Fingers can double as very useful measurement tools, for example. Makes sense, but she'd have to be pretty careful not to hurt herself. I wonder how many times that's happened. Given that it sounds like she's cooked alone for possibly years while Kira worked and her parents were gone. With that, the conversation trails off, and then Nick Randoms checked his time. We're good. Compared to the awkward silence of Hanako, Lily seems genuinely content to say what she thinks and stay quiet when there's nothing to say. 1 second. Slick road under my feet is bathed in an orange glow, the occasional fallen leaf crunching underfoot as we walk. Let out a deep yawn, my lack of sleep coming back to haunt me. Did you not get much sleep last night? Couldn't sleep at all for the last 2 nights. Probably insomnia. Lily's face suddenly becomes worried. Feels like a personal failure every time she gets worried about my well-being. And even if it's genuinely nice to know someone cares. You have insomnia? Aren't you going to see the nurse about it? Nah, no real need. Sent me before a few times. My meds screw with my sleeping occasionally. Ah, I'm sorry. Come on, it's not your fault. At least I shouldn't have any trouble getting to sleep tonight. You do worry me sometimes. I worry you? You reach around and scratch the back of my neck. Kind of want to address this. Hey, Lily? Hmm? Didn't mean to sound weird, but please try to forget about my heart condition. She looks kind of lost. I hardly blame her. I guess what I'm trying to get at is just don't treat me differently because of it. She bows her head slightly, her white cheeks reddening almost imperceptibly. Yeah, imperceptibly. It's only natural to worry about those around you. Well, it's nice to know there's someone like that out there. It may be somewhat embarrassing to say, but it's the truth. Lily takes a breath to regain her composure and manages a gentle smile, though her cheeks remain flushed. The final downhill walk to the store passes in silence. Welcome! You buy, yeah? Yes, we buy. Don't worry. I suppose I got myself my stuff first, and Hanako's on the second round. I grabbed two well-worn red baskets from the stack beside the entrance and passed one to Lily. It seems that line was repeated. Just as she did before, she lays it on the ground and slides her retracted cane between the basket's handles before picking it back up with her right hand. When she takes hold of my arm in her own, I'm surprised at just how fast this kind of casual contact becomes so natural, mostly due to necessity, no doubt. Shall we? Sure. While we navigate around the store, the odd person occasionally passing us pays us no heed at all. It's nice compared to the stares and whispers around the city. As we reach each aisle, I quickly check with Lily what she needs and grab it along with what I want, putting our items into our respective baskets. It's an odd feeling to be depended on so much for something so basic as shopping. Hanako would be practically a necessity for her to pick out what she wants, after all. Right, I'm pretty much done with both of my stuff and Hanako's. You need anything else, Lily? No, this should be everything. Off we go then. Oddly, there's a queue a mile long. Considering the store is only large enough to warrant one counter, seems like it'll take a while. Damn! She gives an inquisitive look, unable to see the reason for my complaint. Queue's really long. Looks like we'll have to wait. How strange. Sharing the same mood of resignation, we reluctantly take our place at the end of the line. One person finishes, the line moves up. Another person finishes, the line moves up. By the time we finally reach the head of the line, I'm so close to dozing off that Lily has to gently pat me on the back for me to move up. Isao? Isao? Sorry. She gives a short sigh of consternation as I move up, getting the groceries for Hanako and I put into separate bags. Thank you, please come again. Ugh. Ow. I have a cut. That sucks. I don't even know where it came from. By the time we emerge from the store, Lily's holding a single bag while I struggle to carry four. You weak ass. Both hands well and truly full. It's a lot of work, but thankfully the items in them are light. Even without looking skyward, it's obvious that a surprising amount of times passed. The road outside being dark and lit by street lamps. Once Lily retrieves her cane and we set out back to the dormitories the way we came, leaving the welcoming warm glow of the store. Despite the road being empty of cars, the full bags abundantly make up for the lack of noise, constantly clunking and squeaking together. My, Hisao, it's good. It's good to find that you're eating well. I'm a growing guy after all, and need to eat all I can. Must be nice being a man. What? Seemingly not noticing or ignoring my surprise at the completely out of left field comment, she continues on without missing a beat. Weight doesn't really bother you when eating most of the time. I get what you mean. Women tend to worry about stuff like that more than we do, I guess. Exactly. Makes me somewhat envious, to be honest. Well, it's not like we can outright ignore it. With an affirmative nod, we continue our walk. Huh? That's right. What is it? Hanako mentioned your birthday was earlier this year. Do anything special for it? She gives a long pause, lost in thought for a few seconds as she recalls the event. Not really. It was just Hanako and I having a little party during the night after school. Your birthday's supposed to be a big event, you know. Sounds like a pretty lonely way to spend a birthday. Just as she and Hanako staying overnight. Birthdays always felt like a family occasion for me. They were a time when, in spite of their full-time jobs, both my parents would make an effort to be there for the day or at least for a party beforehand. God, I hate my allergies. Un momento. Okay, time to get back to the fucking weird-ass lying position I was in while trying to keep this mic stable. I need a mic stand. I really do. Oh, shit. Oh, my knees just cracked. Ow. That was probably the most painful crack of the knees that's happened. Then you took an arrow to the fucking knee. Oh, so much more comfortable. I can only sit for so long. After a while, I just need to lay down. Because I have bad knees and a bad back. Excuse me. Reminds me of how Lily mentioned she hadn't seen her family in such a long time. And even ended up moving away from Akira's house afterwards. But I guess it's the same situations as mundane as these, considering her inability to read the packaging. Just getting groceries would be a pain without somebody else around. In the end, she just has Hanako and I, and Akira when she's off from work. Be that as it may, she seems to have many more distant friends among the students, not to mention people like Yuko. It seems to be her own choice that there's such a separation between those two, those who are close to her, and those who she only socializes with. Humbles me a little to see how much Lily seems to have her life set up and going it just as she wants. Ugh. Itch. Fuck. I'm good. Ugh. Yawning. Yet Hanako is there for her to celebrate her birthday, and I'm here helping her with shopping. It's a weird kind of symbiosis, I suppose. Are you alright, Hasao? Sorry. You just seem to go very quiet, that's all. Just thinking. Sorry. Oh? I never knew what avoid the subject does. I think that just would lead you to the overall bad ending, which results in you dying. So, going with this one. It was just kind of, I was thinking about how you seem to have everything so sorted out. Even with Hanako relying on you, I can admit that even I kind of relied on you when I first transferred in. I think it's a good quality to have. I turned to Lily, surveying her reaction. Whoa. Getting close now. I like. She's forcing herself to look forward and furrowing her brow quite a bit. Her face looks a bit awkward, as if she's trying to find just the right words. Lily? I would thank you, but assuming that I don't rely on the presence of others is too much, you'd be wrong to think that Hanako simply depends on me with nothing in return. She seems to have a bit of trouble saying it, even though it's largely what I'd thought already. If she tried so hard to maintain her independence, as anyone would have had to in her position, Excited or not, maybe she finds it hard to talk about her own needs. Ugh. Trust me, the allergies will pass, and then I won't sound as weird. It's only now that I realize on omission in what she says, though, I decide to follow it up, largely in jest, to avoid things getting too personal. Oh, and what about me? She suddenly runs ahead of me and turns back, blocking me off. With a smile, she holds her hands behind her as she leans forward. You're different. And with that, she turns back and continues to walk ahead of me, a newfound spring in her step. All I can do is raise an eyebrow and give a dazed grin. I don't think I've ever seen this playful and teasing side of her before. So, I'm different. It's hard to work out the exact context, but knowing her, this ambig, ambig, am, ambiguity, yeah, it's ambiguity, it was intended. Our relationship has been changing, at the very least simply because I've begun to stand on my own feet more and has started getting more curious about the situation of those around me. As to why, probably a mix of personal curiosity and a want to try and work out how to deal with my situation. I'm not sure of Lily, though. That's why her own statements, so similar to my own feelings toward her, throws me off so much. Watching her make her way up the street, cane tapping from left to right, I decide to settle the matter later and just smile. This is a nice side to her, and I don't want to forget it. Eventually, we get to the girls' dormitories, both my hands aching from the weight of the two sets of groceries. Weak ass. Ah, we're finally here. Phew. I bend down to wipe my forehead with the back of my hand. Lily stops in front of her door and sets down her bag, fishing around in her pocket for the key. Thank you, Sal. I really appreciate your help. This is nothing. Might be nothing to you, but it's definitely something for me. And with that, she steps through her door, closing it behind her. Oh, dude! It was a green light. You should have went for it. I think those were nothing but honest thanks, but I can't help feeling something different about them. Anyway, I have something else to do before I can mull on that at my leisure. I turn back to the door to Hanako's room and proceed to knock twice in quick succession, the bag still in my hand rustling together. Hey, Hanako. What's good? After a couple of seconds, the door slowly opens. If one weren't looking closely, they could be forgiven for thinking it hadn't moved at all. I twist my head to the side and try to peer through the tiny sliver of a gap between the door and the door frame. Hey, Anako, got your stuff. I've got your drugs. Ah, you got my drugs? Good shit. With that, she opens the door completely, making her plain room visible over her shoulder. Sparsely decorated, it's probably even more unremarkable than my room. Hold out my right arm, both bags almost pulling it straight back down with their weight. Thank you, Hisao. Sorry to make you carry them all this way. It's fine, don't worry. Just don't make me do it every day, okay? I pass the bags to her as I give a light-hearted chuckle. After the initial transfer of weight, she manages to take them easily. I'll be off then. Night, Hanako. Good night. See you in class tomorrow. With a deep bow, her groceries still held in both hands, she steps back and shuts the door. Making my way back to my own dorm, I put one bag into my other hand to balance them out. Even as I do so, I can't get Lily's lighthearted smile out of my head. When I'd first met her, it would have been nearly impossible to imagine her like that. Indeed, it feels like we've become closer in the past few weeks since I first got to know both she and Hanako. The time that I spend with her each day, the small exchanges of happiness we share, those small moments of joy as I get closer to her. I'm far from certain, but I don't think these are just normal feelings of friendship. Once I return to my room, I store away my groceries and begin getting ready for the night. Oh, God. Just throw it away. Swap the school books in my bag for those I'll need tomorrow, pulling out the yellow envelope Misha gave me earlier in the process. I got so sidetracked by one thing after another that I couldn't deal with it earlier. Who could have written me, I wonder? The name neatly adorning the back of the envelope freezes me in my tracks. It's been so long since I've seen her writing. There's little chance I could have identified it as hers otherwise. Iwanako. Dude, seriously, just tear it up, throw it away. Why should she have written me? Can't think of any good reason for her to do this. I almost don't open the letter, but there'd be little point to that. If I just left it alone, its mere existence would gnaw at me until I did something about it. That's why I said tear it up and throw it away. It's as simple as that. I look down at the piece of paper on my desk, its bright and summery decoration beaming happily at me. Lettering is in pink, jarring badly with the yellow sunflower border of the card. The handwriting is neat, the characters having been written thoughtfully and with an unusual amount of care. I'd barely given the letter a second thought when it was given to me, but now I can't get its contents out of my head. Well, I'd like to say that I don't know why she used such an old-fashioned method of communication, considering a phone call or an email would be both much faster and easier. The answer feels obvious enough given the content. A letter leaves a comfortable distance between the sender and the recipient. Unlike a phone, it isn't required that you engage in conversation, and unlike email, there's less expectation of an immediate reply. Statements such as the third years seem to be very anxious about the final exams, and it's so weird to think we are already seniors, isn't it? Are just small talk. Small talk that could have been achieved by simply replying to any of the messages I'd sent her while in the hospital. The ending, though, is the true reason she sent this. The last couple of lines added almost as an afterthought. I wonder if we will meet again. Perhaps if for the best if we don't. It's a statement that should hurt. I've always heard breakups are nasty stuff, but it feels like this is simply a reaffirmation of what we both already knew instead. It's the preceding text, no more than small talk, that makes me feel most uneasy. Can't figure out why, no matter how long I sit here and look down at the bright and summery piece of paper. If you would like to correspond with me, by all means write me back. It's plainly obvious that this is not the type of letter that to be replied to. In the end, this letter is no more than a simple abdication of responsibility, a final statement to reassure herself that our relationship is over. You never had a relationship. She asked you out and you fucking had a heart attack. Oh, why are you calling it a relationship when you didn't even, you guys didn't even share any moments. She just asked you out and you had a heart attack. If anything, I'd be fucking regretting the day I ever met her for giving me a heart attack. As much, I find I have little problem in scrunching the letter and envelope into a ball and tossing it into the waste bin, ridding myself of its existence. There you go! Good job. Hold up. Good job, it's out. Good job. I had to give you a hand. Since Rin couldn't. Oh, that's such a bad joke. But I don't care. I go to bed with mixed feelings, cheated out of a pleasant evening by this intruder from the past, and you should never have read it. You should have just tore it up, threw it away. That's what I do when I get letters I don't want to read. Ironically, it takes me a while before I can manage to sleep. Oh, check the time. Oh yeah, we gotta end this now. Sorry about that. Um, I gotta save this, and we will, resume this after I'm done, compressing the audio. So I'll see you guys then.